Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver, and today I want to talk to those of you in the state of California who are receiving unemployment from the EDD who are stuck in pending. Many of you are stuck in pending and are unable to receive your unemployment benefits from the EDD. Now you guys, the pending payments is a huge problem. It's a huge problem on a number of different levels. Number one, the EDD has not addressed it. They have not addressed the majority of the issues that will put you into pending, and they have not addressed the fact that they are not communicating with claimants, that they are not reaching out to you in order to get these things fixed, and they are not available when you try to get through. I've issued lots of content on this, but the reasons are always changing, and I want to make sure that I give you guys an update for this week for those of you who are stuck in pending. Now, I'm going to walk you through a flow chart that I made, which shows most of the major reasons why claimants are stuck in pending, so that you know if it is an issue that you need to call in, seek further action on, or if it is something that should resolve itself. Unfortunately, for the majority of reasons for pending, you in many cases will need to call into customer service and get through to the EDD. I by no means think that this is easy, because we all know how extremely difficult it is to call the EDD at this point in time. Unfortunately, with many claimants being stuck in pending, with many claimants needing to file a new claim after their benefit year has ended, and with the growing number of issues that seem to be compounding on top of each other with the EDD, the phone lines are a mess. So I'm going to also leave for you my tips of how to call in the video description as well. First, we're going to need to know exactly what type of claim you have. You will either be PUA, UI, PEUC, or Fed Ed. If you don't know what type of claim you have, or if you need to confirm, you're going to go to UI Online. You're going to click on Claims History, and then you're going to click on your most recent transaction. That's the area where you will be able to see the code for the type of claim that you have. If you are noted as DUA, that in most cases means that you are PUA, unless you are someone that is actually in the midst of something such as a wildfire or other natural disaster that is not pandemic related. If you see DUA, then that means that you are PUA. You will then also see either UI, Fed Ed. If you're receiving a PEUC extension, you're going to be noted as one of three different ways. First, if you're receiving the 13-week extension, you'll be noted as PEUC. Second, if you are receiving the 11-week extension, you will be noted as Tier 2. And if you're receiving the third PEUC extension for 29 weeks, you will be noted as Tier 2 augmentation. Now that we know the type of claim that you have, we're going to go ahead and go through the flowchart and see why you may be pending based on the type of claim. For UI, PEUC, and Fed Ed, has your benefit year ended? Your benefit year ends, you're going to look in UI Online. Look at your claim start date and count 12 months after that claim start date. If you are beyond those 12 months after that start date, then you have reached the end of your benefit year. If it states on extension, still count out 12 months after that claim, because you will still have your benefit year end 12 months after the start date regardless. Now, the EDD states that you must file a new claim when you reach the end of your benefit year. This applies to anyone that has received an extension as well. So even if you were recently awarded a new extension, the EDD still requires you to file a new claim when you reach the end of your benefit year. This is a federal level requirement that comes from the Department of Labor directives on how the states are to carry out the unemployment program. If your benefit year has ended, yes, did you file a new claim yet? If no, then you are pending because you have certified on an expired claim. You must file a new claim. Now, if your claim has expired and you are certifying on an expired claim, there's a few things that you need to know. Number one, you can do this online if you choose to do so, or you can try to call into customer service. The benefit about doing it through customer service will be that they will walk you through the application, or if you do not qualify for a new claim because you did not work at all in the prior year due to the pandemic, then in most cases, the representatives will be able to bypass the need to file a new claim, note in your account that you did not work and do not qualify, and then put in to have you extended. Unfortunately, the reps are a bit inconsistent when it comes to who helps you over the phone, but in most cases, they are able to do it that way if you are able to get through to customer service. Keep in mind that any of your old pending certifications on your expired claim will most likely not follow you over to your new claim if you qualify for a new claim. Those old pending certifications will need to be requested to be added to your new claim through either Ask EDD, and you can try to backdate your claim there, or through customer service. If your benefit year has ended, and yes, you did file a new claim, if you're approved for a new claims are pending for the first up to 3 weeks while they are in review. As an additional fraud protection, new claims enter into UISD review, which means that your claim is sent out to a third-party company called Thomson Reuters, who checks your claim for additional fraud protections before the EDD will begin paying you out. If you were approved for a new claim, were you paid for some weeks, but not all? If the answer is no and you were not paid for any weeks, then your claim is still in review, and you most likely will need to allow up to 3 weeks before calling in. If you call in while your new claim is in this review period and it is sent out to a third party, the claim representatives who answer the phone unfortunately will not be able to help you in most cases to get you moved from pending to paid. Why? Because the claim is still undergoing that additional fraud protection through the third party that is reviewing the claim. Were you paid for some weeks but not all? If your answer to this is yes, do you have claim week ending 4/10 and onwards? If yes, EDD customer service representatives have been reporting to my subscribers who call in that because this is the first week in a new quarter, your claim is once again under review for the new quarter. Unfortunately, this new quarter review isn't listed anywhere in the EDD's information online, on Twitter, in press releases, or anywhere. It's nowhere to be found. But because I have had such a significant number of subscribers tell me this feedback in overwhelming numbers, I'm sharing it here with you guys. Because for those of you that are stuck in pending for claim week ending 4/10 and all of your weeks since 4/10 are pending, this seems to be the problem. And in order to fix this, you must call into customer service and they must remove the stop payment alert that is holding your claim during this first certification period of the new quarter. Unfortunately, you will need to call into customer service. If it is not, have you been asked to complete an ID verification or submit other documents? If yes, you will be pending until the EDD receives, processes, and lifts the hold. Now, in some cases, if you're required to complete something such as an ID verification or submitting other documents, in some cases, you being stuck in pending may be due to you not fully understanding that you did not complete the entire process. For example, with ID.me, there is a very specific thing that many subscribers seem to miss in the ID.me process. Once ID.me scans your face through a video selfie, it then makes it seem almost as if you are done, and then very small below it, it states, "Now return to your browser." There's a final step that you must go back to your browser and complete, which grants the EDD permission to access your ID verification and collect some additional details from you. Once you've completed the entire process, ID.me sends you a confirmation email. So make sure that you did in fact successfully complete that process. If it has been more than 2 weeks since you have sent in your documentation via ID.me or through uploading in your UI online portal, then if it were me, I would call into customer service and I would check to make sure that there is not any sort of issue. Sometimes it can take up to 6 weeks for a UI online document submission to be reviewed, processed, and applied to your claim. But oftentimes, claimants find that their ID verification from ID.me or their other documents were simply floating around in EDD and not being applied to their claim. If it's been more than 2 weeks, then that would be the point in which I would call into customer service. If you were not asked to complete ID verification or submit other documents, you most likely have a stop payment alert on your claim in EDD's internal computer system. You will need to call customer service. When the EDD underwent its audit with the California State Auditor, the auditor discovered that the EDD had switched off its internal computer system, which triggers a hold on payments that it believes are not owed payments or could be fraudulent claims. The auditor insisted that they switch this protection back on to avoid paying out fraudulent claims. Unfortunately, over a year into the pandemic, the EDD has still not updated their computer systems fully to be aware of the pandemic. Because of this, the way that you certify or certain things about your claim may trigger the EDD's internal computer system to apply a stop payment alert. If you are pending, you are within your benefit year, you are not awaiting any sort of documents to be processed with the EDD, then unfortunately you most likely have a stop payment alert applied to your claim and you will need to call into customer service and clear the hold on your account. In some cases, the customer service reps are able to do this over the phone, and in other cases, they must then schedule a phone interview with you at a later date. Next, let's talk about PUA claims. PUA claims are not required to file a new claim when you reach the end of your benefit year. Because PUA claims do not file a new claim, they do not have as many possibilities for why you could be pending. If you are PUA, do you have claim week ending 4/10 and onward pending? If yes, then the EDD customer service representatives have been reporting to claimants who call in that this is the first week in a new quarter and you are subject to a new quarter review, which has applied a stop payment alert to your claim. If you're pending for weeks 4/10 onward, you will need to call into customer service in order to have them lift this new quarter hold that is applied to your account. If no, and you have other weeks that are pending, aside from 4/10 on, have you been asked to complete ID verification or submit other documents? If yes, you will be pending until EDD receives, processes, and lifts the hold. If you were not asked to complete ID verification or submit other documents, you most likely have a stop payment alert on your claim in EDD's internal computer system. You will need to call customer service. When the EDD underwent its audit with the California State Auditor, the auditor discovered that the EDD had switched off its internal computer system, which triggers a hold on payments that it believes are not owed payments or could be fraudulent claims. The auditor insisted that they switch this protection back on to avoid paying out fraudulent claims. Unfortunately, over a year into the pandemic, the EDD has still not updated their computer systems fully to be aware of the pandemic. Because of this, the way that you certify or certain things about your claim may trigger the EDD's internal computer system to apply a stop payment alert. If you are pending, you are within your benefit year, you are not awaiting any sort of documents to be processed with the EDD, then unfortunately you most likely have a stop payment alert applied to your claim and you will need to call into customer service and clear the hold on your account. Now, if you are stuck in pending, unfortunately, many of the reasons that I listed do need to call into customer service in order to get pushed from pending to paid. I want to reiterate to you guys, calling into customer service is not easy. I'm not trying to say that it is, and I sympathize with you guys that are having extreme difficulty calling in, but in many cases, you must call in and you must get through in order to get paid. In order to call into customer service and actually get through, I want to reiterate a few of my tips that I recommend to my subscribers when they are trying to get a hold of customer service. Number one is using a different language line. If you are able to communicate in one of the languages listed here, opt for that line because the hold times and the ability to get through to a hold line is oftentimes much faster than the main English speaking line. Next, many of my subscribers are still reporting success with calling 1-833-2511. After the announcer states select from the following, you're going to type in very quickly 134. All together right when they say select from the following. This will not work the first try, but about 50% of my subscribers are still reporting success with using this trick repeatedly to get through much faster to a hold line. It does not seem to work for everyone all the time, but if you view the link over in the video description where I demonstrate this trick, then you'll be able to view the comments and see if it's still working for the majority of subscribers at your point in time. Next, I want to reiterate to you guys the importance of contacting your assembly members. If you guys have major problems getting through to customer service, you are not able to get through, or if you have larger scale problems and you need additional help in getting your issues resolved, the assembly members' offices have been extremely helpful in helping their constituents who are EDD claimants. If you call in or email in cases, they will be able to help you follow up with the EDD on their end and then follow up with you. Additionally, calling into your assembly member's office helps to put pressure on the California State Legislature to get EDD reform laws passed. And finally, I understand that this is not a fit for all, but if you decide that you want to try using a paid service to get through to a hold line because you have given up on calling in, then I'm going to leave Claimer's link down below in the video description for you. You can view the video where I test out the service, and you can read the comments and feedback from other subscribers who have tested out this service as well. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down